this is going to be one of the weirder reviews that I've ever done. The Miyoo Mini Flip is a device straight out of 2022 or 2023. Back when the most powerful handheld at that time, at the high end, could barely play more than Nintendo 64. And so what we have here today is the Miyoo Mini from that time, except it is now in a clamshell form. So you have the same screen, you have the same specs, same processor, except there's Wi-Fi added as well and a few other additions, but this is a Miyoo Mini in a clamshell. But it's been years since the release of the Miyoo Mini, and we have seen a lot of upgrades in that time in the $50 to $70 price point. And so the Miyoo Mini Flip feels dated in a lot of ways. This can't compete on power, it can't compete on battery life, it can't compete on heat management, but I still really like it for some reason. It makes no actual factual sense. I can't come at you with any scientific reasons here. You would be able to tell easily on paper that this is absolutely nowhere near the top or best handheld in this price range. And I would completely agree with you, but it's the one that I want to use the most, and I guess that means something. Look, like I said, this is a weird review. Let's talk specs first. We have the same processor here as the Miyoo Mini, so same power and what it can play. The answer to that is complicated. You can play a lot of PlayStation 1 just fine. Some struggles in some of the harder to run PlayStation 1 games, like Valkyrie Profile, for example. But otherwise, you are mostly fine to play pretty much whatever you want on PS1. MGBA, as a core, works for Game Boy Advance games, although you will barely have any fast forward speed, so instead you'll most likely be using GPSP. That may have an issue with some ROM hacks here and there, but yeah, you can play Game Boy Advance games really well. Then you have many other retro systems that you can play, and they play great here. There is lots you can do, and there is hundreds of games available to you. All of this is on the same 2.8-inch screen as the Miyoo Mini, except this one is brighter. Not significantly, but enough that you would notice that it is brighter. Now, OnionOS does work as a custom firmware. OnionOS is a fantastic custom firmware, and it's awesome here that it works out of the box. Now, not everything does work though. You can't close the lid and have the device go into sleep or turn off, so that doesn't work. And headphones do not work properly either. Both of those actually work properly on the stock operating system. That being said, to get all of the benefits of OnionOS, I can deal with those negatives. I don't really use headphones, and I don't need it to go to sleep when I close the lid right now. I would like that functionality at some point in the future if OnionOS is going to update, but for right now, I would suggest that you just jump into OnionOS if you grab one of these. And so for today's video, I'm going to be using OnionOS for everything that you see here today. Now, this does have 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, and the chip does make static noises when the Wi-Fi is being used. It affects the speakers, so you get some fairly annoying static noises when you do updates, or if you're using the Wi-Fi quite a bit. I will say this is all much worse on stock compared to Onion. I found the speakers and static to just be much more of a problem there. OnionOS, it's less of a problem. They're just not very good speakers overall either way. Or I guess it's a speaker, it's mono. So just keep that in mind. They are functional speaker, or it is a functional speaker, but it's not great. On the battery front, we have a 2500 milliamp hour battery, and it's not great. Doing a test of just playing Game Boy at max brightness with Wi-Fi on, and I got 3 hours exactly of battery life before it died. You could maybe squeak out another hour or so with Wi-Fi off and maybe lower brightness, but generally the battery is not very good. Although it is more than enough for quick pick up and play if you are out on the go, which is mostly when you would use this. Alongside the battery, we have to talk about the heat. This thing can cook an egg. It can get very, very hot, and for seemingly no reasons at all. Playing retro systems without fast forward, you are generally fine. Turn on fast forward, and you're gonna feel it. PlayStation 1 and pushing this chip, you're gonna feel it. Then we get to the Hinge, and as usual, I can't comment on the long-term reliability of the Hinge. I can tell you that this feels crazy sturdy. Like absolutely crazy sturdy. It just doesn't move. Does that mean anything? No, but it's the best that I can give you. It does close in the usual 3 spots, and it does have a nice, satisfying click, but that's as much as I can say. It feels great to close this, but I don't know how it's going to handle months and months of usage. On the controls front, we have a pretty stiff D-pad here, and it is small. My entire thumb is bigger than the D-pad, and I don't really have a big thumb. It is fine for what it is, but it isn't my favorite D-pad. It is also not the worst D-pad. It is more than serviceable for a clamshell like this, and it's what you get for this size. On the face buttons, there's no real travel to them. They are stiff as well, but they are easy to push down. They feel just fine. I wouldn't take the Flip to any game competitions, but if you just want to play some easy games, all of this is serviceable. I do like the shoulders and triggers on the back. They are super easy to use. You push down for hotkey usage, which is pretty much the exact reason you would use either of these for the systems that this plays, as opposed to something like the TrimUI Brick, where the back buttons were just not good. These are much better. Then, just quickly, in the box, you get a nice case that you can put the Miyoo Mini Flip in. Gives you an SD card reader, which I suggest nobody ever use because these will not work properly and will cause issues for you. They do give you a 3.5mm to USB headphone jack adapter if you want to use headphones with this, because there is no headphone jack. So you will have to use an adapter if you want to use it. But like I said, this only works right now on stock. OnionOS doesn't work properly. And lastly, you get a USB-A to C charging cable that you can use to charge the device. I did try USB-C to C charging, and that did not work. So I'm not sure what's going on there, because I'm pretty sure they updated the Miyoo Mini and Miyoo Mini Plus to work with that, but it isn't working here for me. All in all, this is a very small clamshell, with all of those compromises that come with it being very small. And while nothing sticks out, it all just kind of works still. I can't generally recommend the Miyoo Mini Flip to everybody, really at all. It is $70 US. It is nowhere near the capabilities of what other devices in the $70 US price range can do, like the Anbernic RG35XX SP, Anbernic RG34XX SP, and so on. But I like it quite a bit. Like I said before, it doesn't have good performance, doesn't have a great battery, doesn't have great heat management, doesn't have any of those, but it's a novelty. It feels like a fun little thing that you pull out on the go, you play for 5-10 minutes, and then you put it back. That is the entire purpose of this device. The other Anbernics that I mentioned before, I would use for hours and hours and hours. I would never use this for hours and hours and hours. So this will be a special kind of person for who this is for. Do you want to just put something in your pocket, because it's very small, and just take it out and play for a few minutes? That is the exact purpose of this. But there's a problem there. The problem is, from a review perspective, to recommend to the thousands of people that watch these videos, I just can't do that. I really can't do it, because I cannot here on this end explain factually why I like this device. Everything today is based off of feeling. I have to throw out every single negative I talked about. The bad battery, the heat management, all of it, and then just tell you that, yeah, I still like it no matter what. But that doesn't help you on the other end. That is me throwing out every single factual piece of information to say that I still like this based off of feeling. And so as a reviewer, I can't recommend this. I can't put my name on this, especially at $70. If it was $35, $30, sure, I could see that. And maybe it will drop to that price in the future. But as a reviewer, it feels weird to say that I recommend this where you have so many other better options for this price point. So it really does depend on what type of person you are. Are you collecting these devices? Do you know that the full use case of this is to pull it out for 5-10 minutes on the go and play with it and then put it back in your pocket afterwards? If you're aware of all that, then sure, there is fun here. It is cute. It is nice. Every time I open it and play with it, I'm like, this is fun. This feels great. But can I recommend it? No. The end result of all of this is I would lose a debate to a child if I had to accurately articulate why I like this device. And so that is the problem for me. But at the end of the day, I really like this. I want to use it. I want to have it on me. I like just playing with it. It's been fun. I've brought this with me to grocery stores, to Winners, HomeSense, Marshalls when my wife is out and just trying to spend money. And I'm like trying to focus on the fact that she is not spending money by playing this device. All of that has been very fun in that way. But that's me personally. And look, I've had my own personal history with Miyoo and their devices. The A30 and the Flip were not good, and I said as much in my reviews for those videos. You should go check those out if you are curious. But the Miyoo Mini Plus is still one of my favorite handhelds to this day, and so when you give me a Miyoo Mini Plus in a clamshell, I don't know how I can say no. I have been asking for this from Miyoo for years now. Why not just make another Miyoo Mini upgraded and all that sort of thing with OnionOS? That's it. Minus the upgrade part, because they didn't do that here. But I mean, sure, this works. It still works. 2-3 years later, it still works for me. And so to end this review off, and I don't know how to end this properly, I like this a lot. I can't explain to you why I like it a lot. I can't recommend it to you for a lot of different reasons, but I like it a lot. So if that resonates with you, then maybe this might be for you. For everybody else, I think the 35XX SP or 34XX SP from Anbernic are better purchases for this price. But if this hits a lower price, it's very fun. That's all I can say. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about retro handhelds. Support me through YouTube membership if you like my stuff. And hope you all have a good one.